What is GABA? How it exerts its physiological effect and how it affects neuronal excitability in the central nervous system. GABA stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. It's an amino acid neurotransmitter that plays an important role in many biochemical reactions in the body. GABA's function is generally inhibitory. GABA is secreted in the central nervous system in the cerebral cortex, hypothalamus, Purkinje cells of cerebellum, spinal cord, granule cells of olfactory bulb, and retina. GABA is an ionotropic receptor, which is a type of neurotransmitter receptor that contains a neurotransmitter binding site and an ion channel. When GABA binds to its receptor, it causes the chloride ion channels to open, allowing the chloride ions to diffuse into the postsynaptic cell. The inward flow of chlorine ions causes the inside of the cell to become more negative or hyperpolarized and causes an inhibitory postsynaptic potential to be generated. GABA is generally released with somatostatin. They both inhibit growth hormone release. GABA is a potent inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. Its inhibitory effects are enhanced by alcohol, anti-anxiety drugs, and barbiturates, and they impair our motor coordination. The substances that block its synthesis, release, or action induce convulsions. One of those substances is flumazenil, which is an antagonist at the benzodiazepine binding site on the GABA receptor. It decreases the binding of GABA, so the chloride channels remain closed. Benzodiazepine on the GABA receptors. Benzodiazepines are commonly prescribed to patients with anxiety, sleep disorders, and alcohol withdrawal. When benzodiazepine is administered, its function enhances the response of GABA receptor complex. It interacts with these receptors to increase the chloride ion influx inside the cell to hyperpolarize and delay the onset of an action potential, enhancing the central nervous system depression. Alcohol is another central nervous system suppressant that impacts the brain by potentiating the GABA receptors along with barbiturates. Alcohol depresses the sympathetic nervous system, so when we drink alcohol, corticotropin release factor is stimulated by the paraventricular nucleus of the hypothalamus to release corticotropin release hormone in the interior pituitary gland. This stress-derived steroid hormone regulates and enhances the function of GABA receptors. Now, what happens when we drink alcohol and take benzodiazepine at the same time? When these two substances are combined in the body, GABA receptors are empowered and enhanced even further to hyperpolarize the postsynaptic cell and render it inhibited, delaying it from initiating an action potential. This inhibition slows down the central nervous system, which in turn slows down the heart rate, blood pressure, and therefore breathing, leading to potential death. Chloride ion movement in skeletal muscle. Chloride channels are involved in processes in the body, such as the regulation of excitability of neurons, smooth cardiac and skeletal muscle, cell volume regulation, and the transepithelial transport of water and salt. Chloride channels are ion channels located on the plasma membrane that allows the passive transport of chloride ions across biological membranes. We also find the chloride channels in intracellular organelles membranes, such as lysosomes and endosomes. Chloride channels play a pivotal role in the regulation of organelle volume and potential hydrogen. Here we have the different types of chloride channels, starting with intracellularly ATP-gated chloride channels to chloride channel complex, volume-sensitive chloride channel, voltage-gated, chloride channel inhibitor, intracellular chloride channel, GABA-gated, and pH-gated. Channelopathies are inherited diseases caused by mutations in ion channel proteins. The most common channelopathy is cystic fibrosis, caused by a defect in the chloride channel function. Cystic fibrosis, or CF, is the most common genetic condition among Caucasians. CF affects the cells that produce mucus in the respiratory system, digestive system, and sweat glands. The mucus becomes thick and sticky and blocks the ducts, airways, and passageways. Cystic fibrosis is caused by mutations in the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator gene that encodes the chloride channel. When the chloride channel is defected, the chloride uptake into the cell is decreased and so is sodium intake, which may lead to severe obstruction of the secretory functions in the epithelial cells. Thank you.